Caleb Wilson has officially committed to North Carolina. You know, if you've been following Kentucky news these last 3-4 days, you kind of figured this was the reality, but it's now happened. We're going to talk about it. Where do we go from here? That'll be the conversation on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined by Carson Nash. Carson has a long day at work, it sounds like, which, you know, that's never a ton of fun. But we're going to Nashville on Saturday. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to go watch the Cats play down at Vanderbilt. You know, as soon as we saw that pop up on the schedule, me and you were like, "Yep, we're going." And so making that come to fruition is going to be really fun. But yeah, the news at hand isn't so great right now. Caleb Wilson picks the Tar Heels over the Cats. It's unfortunate based on the early perceived notions of this recruitment. It seemed like Caleb was all bought in with the Cats, or at least the way he flaunted it on social media. So, yeah, this one does sting a bit, but I do trust in Pope for him to make the right choices in the future.
To me, which first of all, I can't possibly be in a bad mood when I will be in the city of Nashville in the next couple days. I can't be in a bad mood. Like, it's not possible. Like, I like Nashville that much. It's just the best place in the entire world. But, you know, I agree with you. To me, losing a recruiting battle like this, it just feels like the worst. It's kind of where, like, I believe he wanted to be at Kentucky, and we've had people say that. I believe that North Carolina threw everything but the kitchen sink at him. I mean, they handed them a blank check, and that's part of it. Power to North Carolina. I mean, they had to find a way to win a recruiting battle. They did good for them. I mean, no discredit to them in the way they got it done. They got it done. But it hurts. And I'll tell you this. Do we play North Carolina? Who do we play in the No, we play Michigan State. I don't think we play them next year.
No.
Unless randomly.
Because we played them in Atlanta last year.
Unless we get them in the ACC thing, maybe. I don't know. Have we gotten our opponent for that? Yeah, I don't think we have. But Caleb Wilson's going to be disliked within Big Bull Nation. And not just because he picked North Carolina, but because the way he kind of, you know, I wouldn't say trolled, but I mean, because I think at the time it was genuine. But
No, that's my thing too. I wouldn't say he trolled us because at the time period when he made those tweets, I'm pretty certain he wanted to be a Kentucky Wildcat. So I'm not too upset about that at all.
So, I mean, I think we have to remember some things. First of all, Kentucky has 3 great recruits: Caden Lewis, Jasper Johnson, Malachi Moreno. That's the first thing we have to remember. And anyone that's going to use this as a Will Pope can't recruit, we're not even going to do that right now. Just shush. No, we're not doing that. That's not true. I mean, if I handed Caleb Wilson a blank check and said, write a number, don't worry, you can't scare me, I would expect him to come here too. I mean, that's just the reality. But looking at this, I think now power forward becomes, you know, to get a little kind of next year on y'all, power forward becomes a big question mark. Well, I think our one option in this class is Nate Ament. And Carson, I'll let you talk about him here in a second. I'm not buying that. I think we'd be crazy not to make a push at him because why the heck not? He's actually ranked higher than Caleb Wilson, ironically, and they both are power forwards. I think you make a run at him. I don't see it happening, though, Carson. What are your thoughts on that with Ament?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would be crazy not to at least put out some feelers there because he is such a talent and at the same position as Caleb Wilson. So the position you do need help at next year. So I wouldn't be shocked to see us get into the ring of teams, but he had some previous interests of Kentucky. I mean, he's listed us as one of his top 10 suitors. So you could see the tires be kicked on that one. But I will say this. I think the key now is to maybe shift to that transfer portal and see what kind of options might become available because I think you're going to see this a lot moving forward with the landscape of college basketball. The recruits coming in, their price is going to be a little more steep than the transfers that you could possibly get. I mean, you go and you take a kid from Wake Forest, second best player on the team, Andrew Carr, because Hunter Salas was the best player on that team last year. But they didn't even make the tournament, and he's starting for you at Kentucky, and we're a top 10 team. I mean, so for me, this is not live and die by high school recruits anymore. We have a well-oiled team that you can choose your guys to plug in and play at the right position that fits your play style. So I think Pope's going to make the correct decision no matter what route he takes, whether that be going hard after Nate Ament or going and finding someone in the transfer portal to fill that Andrew Carr role that he's playing right now.
My guess is going to be the transfer portal. And, interestingly enough, our roster next year, if I was a betting man, and I'll tell you, I'm going to shed some negative news on y'all on top of some negative news. I don't think Kirk Kriisa plays this year. I'm now more bought in than I was the other day. Those of you remember that. The whole talk, we've seen some folks saying some things about he's looking for a medical red shirt. Once that talk comes out, I'm really starting to lose more confidence in seeing Curry this year, which really stinks for this year. But we're talking next year right now. I think Ortega comes back. I don't. Here's the deal, and this is another. I hate to say this out loud. The NBA is not going to like Ortega as a player right now because while he's shooting 35% from three, I don't think they're going to look at it and go,
yeah, they're not created shots.
Yes, exactly right. Perfect example. So I just don't think Ortega's NBA ready. I think he's a year away, maybe continuing to develop as a create your own shooter. We know he can get at the rim. When it comes to getting the rim, he's probably the best in college basketball. But
yeah, he'd be on every list if he comes back next year. The All-American wouldn't watch, he'd be on everything.
So I think Ortega comes back. So I think you have Malachi and BG, you're 5. I also, if you want to hear a bold take,
mm-hmm.
I think BG can maybe play a little 4 next year.
Dude, that BG everyone is not talking about it enough. He has the highest 3-point shooting percentage on the team.
And it looks good. It looks good.
The ball.
Yeah. Mark Pope, Wyatt just texted me. I'm probably going to write an article here in a little bit about, I guess Pope had a quote today in his presser. I didn't make it to today's, but about BG as a shooter. And seriously, BG can shoot the rock. I think there's a world, and he's only 6'10". He's not like 7'2". He's a guy you could play at your 4. You could play him at your 4. The problem is then you need a 5. You're going to need some players in your front court regardless of where BG plays. But I think that it's definitely be a conversation you and I have, Carson, during this offseason. Because I think BG is going to take the league by storm next year. So I think that power forward, assuming you don't get Ament, which, like I said, right now I wouldn't say never, but is very unlikely. We're going to need a power forward. We're going to need another. And if you do move BG to the 4, you're going to need a backup 4 and a backup 5. So right now we're going to need 2 4s. We would have probably needed the 4 in the portal anyway. But your backcourt, if Kerr comes back with Perry and Kerr and Hayden and Jasper, then whatever you can. Do you consider Trent Noah 2 or a 3? What do you consider him?
I'd say more of a 3. I think he's a wide body, big boy. I think he can move some weight. So I'd like to see him more to low post just because I think you need that size down low. Now he's the absolute good enough shooter to be a 2 and play that corner role, but I think you need his size. Yeah. So then, okay, let's say he backs. I still think we probably go get another 3, to be honest with you, to back up, Ortega, wherever you consider Ortega again. Because right now this year we have a lot of 2s that are 2s and 3s. We don't really have a lot of 2s. And like Jasper Johnson is a 2. He's not a 2 or 3. He's a 2. Mm-hmm. I think Jackson and Ortega, you could kind of make the argument they're 2s and 3s. Mm-hmm. So I think that the front court and then the 3 is where we're gonna need at least 3 players there with what we got coming in out of high school. So maybe 2 in the front court if you say BG and Malachi and you go get 2 power forwards and you got 4 guys back there. But we're gonna have the scholarships. You might as well use them. So it will be interesting to see what we do there. But power forward, is going to be priority number 1 in the transfer portal, assuming we don't get Ament, which, like I said, I would say is very unlikely at this current moment. Yeah, and like me and Andrew love to say on here, recruiting is always fluid. So you never know. Ament could be on campus this weekend. We don't know.
And one of his top schools is Louisville. So, if he's smart, and now that Caleb Wilson's out for us, he'd be like, oh, I can go to the better school in Kentucky.
Not to mention he can be like, oh, the NIL money that you promised Wilson, How much was that? What was that looking like? So, I mean, for me, losing out on Wilson is almost like you get a discounted rate at a player, right? You go to the transfer portal and you're almost saving money at that point, because no matter who you get out of there, they probably don't have the upside that Caleb Wilson does. So they're not going to be asking for that $2 million check, So I think we're going to be fine regardless. So don't lose your mind about this. This isn't like the past where if you lose on a Zion, your team's going to be in trouble. This is we missed. We have a bunch of options. And here's the funny thing about it. Brandon Garrison was our highest rated transfer, according to 247 Sports, at 20th. 20th. The 20th best ranked transfer was our best ranked transfer, and we're a top 10 team.
Yeah.
This is the least talented team Pope's ever going to have at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Let me just put that in perspective.
It's actually really scary to think
that's
about.
What I'm saying. This is really scary for other teams. So you've been warned, especially you Tar Heels. We're coming. So get ready.
What do you mean we're coming? They suck. I don't know what. What? They're awful. I don't know what we're coming.
No, this
need to be coming.
This commitment was to only seal Hubert Davis's job. That's the only reason why they're getting Caleb Wilson. I will die by that. I completely think that's the reason. But we're going to be fine. No need to freak out. I know people are going to freak out because it just happens. It's been going on. We thought he was a lock. Yeah, we did. But this stuff happens, especially now in the new world of college basketball. But Kentucky's going to be fine. So we'll be. I
agree.
The gold
it sucks. It sucks. I mean, I would have much preferred to have Caleb Wilson than to not have Caleb Wilson. I mean, there's no debate there. It sucks, but I just know Coach Pope's going to figure it out.
Let me pick your brain for a second. There's a 17-year-old kid playing for Arizona State. He is, I think, either leading the country in blocks per game or second.
Leading.
Yeah. He may or may not have been committed to this program at once and has to play another year in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, although is Quain's a 4 or a 5? What is he playing over there?
I mean, you could play him at either spot. I mean, I think he's good enough that you could play him at either spot.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, the point is, losing on Wilson stinks, but at the end of the day, we're going to go and get somebody in the portal that's really good. That's it. That's all that matters. And
there's going to be people lined up to play for Mark Pope.
And it might not be NBA talent upside good, but who can, once again, I don't care. And I think Jasper is going to be a one and done. We're going to get our one and done.
It's great that Shea's going to win the MVP. I'm super pumped that Shea's going to win the MVP, but it doesn't affect us at all.
No, it doesn't. I mean, how many points does that give us against Vandy on Saturday?
Yeah,
None. We don't get anything for it. It just gives Calipari more recruits to then suck with. But hey, they won a game. Good for them. That actually was a funny. I'll tell you what. Last night,
down 15. They came back.
Were you watching any of those games?
I didn't watch any of it. No, I normally stick to good basketball.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I just enjoy SEC, which I really wish, for our sake of being in a top 4 seed in Nashville, I really wanted Florida to lose to South Carolina. But then I was kind of hooked watching all night. So, and then I watched A&M come back against Ole Miss.
That was big.
That was good for us too.
Yeah, I know. I saw that one. Yeah, that was.
They're all 4-2 now. You want the good teams to lose,
especially the teams you beat. You want the teams you beat to win.
Exactly. So that was a good win for us. If Florida would have lost, that'd have been great too. But whatever. And we have the head-to-head.
Yeah, we have the head-to-head.
And then Arkansas comes back to beat Georgia, which now Georgia's, I think they're gone. I think that was a fun 2-day experiment with them. But it was SEC basketball was just fun, and it goes to show it doesn't matter where you're going to get your best shot. South Carolina is bad without 2 starters, and they almost beat Auburn and Florida at home. I mean, it just shows you.
It shows you how good the conference is.
Exactly. And they're the worst, the worst team. Maybe he probably.
Lenardi put out a bracketology today, and it said that he thinks that as of right now, 12 bid league.
Yeah. So,
which is nuts.
That tells you all you need to know right there. But let us know in the YouTube comments thoughts on Caleb Wilson committing to UNC. It stinks. Shout out to anybody that's watching this. We're recording this. I'm just going to tell y'all we're recording this before he commits because we just know he's going to go to North Carolina. Now, I will be up because I have to post articles. Would love it if you go read them. But
and we'd love if you never see this video.
Yes, but at the same time, Oh, that'd be great too, actually. If somehow, although I'll tell you what, I've done
Hey,
like 2
I'll
hours
tell
of
you.
work today,
Yeah, one sec.
preemptively assuming that. So
So there was a situation, I don't remember it as well because I was really young, but Terrence Jones had committed to Washington out of high school, and the same night he picked Washington, he flipped to Kentucky.
I didn't know that.
It was like, of course, it was West Coast time, so it was like way late into the night, like 1 or 2 in the morning, and he flips. It was the craziest thing in the world.
I'll just tell you this. I'd done about 3 hours of work today in regard to Caleb Wilson committing to North Carolina. So if I have to stay up till 5 in the morning doing the flip side of that work because he's coming to Kentucky, I will be happy and pissed off at the same time.
I'll call you in the morning, and I'll be so happy.
Yeah, well, there you go. And you'd be like, oh, yeah. And I'd be like, oh, leave me alone. I've been asleep for an hour and a half. Yeah, so we'll see. But so shout out to anybody that's watching this right now at 1 a.m. I will be awake. Carson will more than likely not be. I might have to make a parlay for the Celtics-Lakers game. Now
that's one way you could get me invested in that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there you go. But so yeah, that's coming up later tonight. When y'all are watching this will come out after, of course, he's made his decision, which more than likely is to UNC.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny played there and he's hosting the TNT show. So
there you go. Exactly. But on tomorrow, Friday, I guess today, probably more than likely for most of you all watching this, because heck, even it's coming out at 1 a.m. So yes, it's Friday for anybody that's watching it.
Happy Friday.
Later today, happy Friday, everybody. Later today, we'll have a Vandy preview. Carson and I are heading down for that ball game, which will be a ton of fun. Nashville needs to watch the heck out because we're coming. But we'll have a preview for the Vandy game.
On up.
Oh yeah, we're riding the bull. Maybe we're gonna fire it up at Robert's Western World. We're gonna get Kate Hill on karaoke. It's gonna be a crazy night. But so that'll be tomorrow. Hey, don't look past this Vandy team. Don't look past them. We'll tell you why on tomorrow's show. Appreciate y'all being here. Sorry we had to break some bad news. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Friday night, and we will see you in like 7 hours on tomorrow's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast.